guys, welcome back to Two Sisters Homestead. So today it's fall and I'm really feeling that. So I want to have some soup for dinner. So I wanted to make some bread for it. So I decided to go ahead and just make a video on a couple of different bread recipes for you guys to try out, especially since it is becoming fall. It's not as hot outside, so people are using their stoves more. So we are going to first start it off with our artisan crusty bread, which is really good for soups. I love to have this anytime I make any type of soups, and it's really easy. So first we are going to start off with 3 cups of flour. I have a half measuring cup, but you guys, this recipe is so easy, and you would just really have to try it. It's one of the simplest things that I've ever made. I think this was actually one of the first breads that I made, if I'm not mistaken. And every time it works out perfectly. It doesn't have to be perfect, which is good because it is an artisan bread. It's just amazing. So now I'm going to use 2 teaspoons of salt. And then we are going to need a half a teaspoon of dry active yeast. And then you need 1.5 cups of lukewarm water. And then you just get to mixing. This dough whisk is also a lifesaver when it comes to making different breads. It makes it a lot easier. So with this dough, you do want it to be a little bit more on the shaggy side. You don't want it to be like super smooth or anything like that. And because, you know, it's an artisan bread. So if you've ever seen an artisan loaf, it's just however, you know. You just roll it up a little bit into a little ball, and then it's done. It kind of looks like the sourdough loaves, you know, that you can make, but it's with yeast, which is good because sometimes we don't have enough time for sourdough, and right now I don't have a starter. However, I think I'm going to start that back again, so we'll have to see on that one. But let me wash my hands and then I'll come back and tell you what's next. So now, since we have our bread mixed, we are just going to cover it up with some plastic wrap or a damp towel, whatever you have. And then we are just going to set this on the counter in whatever warm space you have for 8 hours to 24 hours. So you can make this overnight, like let it sit overnight, or you can make it in the morning of, and it'll be ready for dinner, whatever you want. So we're just gonna leave this on the counter until it's time to cook, and then I'll bring you back for that. Okay, you guys, for this next recipe, we are going to do a bread machine pizza dough recipe. I think I've done this previously on this video before in some of the older videos. However, I wanted to go ahead and do it again, especially since school has started. I can do this to make the kids something for lunches that are easy to make, and I can freeze them and then cook them that morning with no problem. So that's what we are going to do, and this bread machine makes it so much easier for me to be able to do it in here. It's so simple. So what we're going to do is just add all the ingredients into our bread machine container. So first we are going to do the wet ingredients, and then we're going to follow that with the dry ingredients. So we need 1 1/3 cups of warm water, and I am doubling this recipe. And then we need 2 tablespoons of butter. We do it softened. And then we are going to add in 4 cups of flour. Okay, so we got all that in there, and now we're going to need 2 teaspoons of salt. Also are going to need 2 tablespoons of sugar. And then 2 teaspoons of our yeast. And then we are going to just put this in our bread machine, and mine has a dough setting, which is 7 on mine. So you want to put it on that setting. It takes usually about 90 minutes, and then whenever it's done, it will be the perfect dough, and then it's just ready to go ahead and shape for what you're using it for. Hey you guys, so you always want to try to be able to check your bread whenever it's in there, just to make sure that everything is getting incorporated like it's supposed to. And sometimes you might need to add a little bit of water or something depending on where you live. It can depend on if it's too dry or not. However, I've never had any issues, and I never had to do this. So let me show you what it looks like. It looks so soft, so good, and this is one of my favorite bread recipes. I love it. Guys, so I'm just going to flour my surface a little bit. The dough is done, and it's so beautiful. So now we're just going to dump it out of here and start putting it into some Hot Pockets or calzones or whatever, and then I'm going to freeze them for a later day. So like I said, this does make 2 recipes of regular pizzas depending on the size you want, but I'm not making that this time. I'm just making some calzones. So, and this dough is super soft. And this dough does grow a lot in the oven, so it will get a lot bigger. So I had some leftover pizza sauce from another day in the fridge, so I'm going to go ahead and use this. And I might have to open up another one. I'm not for sure yet. And we're just going to do them basic since they're just for the kids as lunches. We're just going to do sauce and then some cheese. And I'm just going to use mozzarella on them. And then fold them on up. Okay, and just like that, we have a calzone that's going to go in the freezer. So now I'm going to continue to do this, and I'll bring you back for the next recipe. Okay, so this next recipe, it is not mine. However, I've been trying to try some different sandwich breads that we like. So I'm trying this one. I'll link that in the comments or the description down below for you. But first, you're going to need your stand mixer bowl, and we're going to add in half of the lukewarm water. So for the whole recipe, you need 1 2/3. So we're just going to add half of that in here. And then we're going to add in 2 1/4 teaspoons of our yeast. Let it sit for about 5 minutes or so the yeast can bloom, and then we will continue the process. Okay, you guys, my yeast is been sitting for a while. Now we're going to add in the rest of our water, and we are going to add in a tablespoon of honey. Next, we need a teaspoon of salt. And then 1 1/2 tablespoons of melted butter or softened butter. Okay. And then we are going to add in 4 cups of flour. Find my measuring cup. Okay, 4 cups of flour. I have a half measure right here, so I'm gonna use 8. And then we are going to get this onto our stand mixer. First, we are just going to run it on low just so it can incorporate a little bit better. And then when it's soft and a little bit tacky, and then we will speed it up a little bit. So now it is done, and I'm just going to transfer it into a greased bowl and let it rise for about 45 minutes is what the recipe says. However, I'm gonna put it in the fridge because I have to go some places, and so I'm just gonna let it do its thing in there instead. Okay, Okay, you guys, so we are back. My dough for the sandwich bread has rolls, and I'm just going to take it out onto a floured surface, and we're going to cut it in half, just down the middle. And then we are going to pat down each side and try to form a rectangle. And this also helps get all the air bubbles out. And once you do that, we are going to start rolling it up really tight. And then we're going to pinch the seam. And then we're going to put it seam side down in a greased loaf pan. And we're going to do the same thing with this one. This is my first time using this recipe like I had stated before. And I put it in the fridge because I had to leave. So I'm really curious to see how it's going to turn out. And make sure it still rises, because if so, then that was really easy for me. So we're going to get that and put that in here as well. And just like that, we got our 2 loaves, and we are going to let them sit over here on the counter and for about 45 minutes until they double up, and then we will take them out, take the towel off of them, and then put them in the oven. Okay, you guys, so now I'm going to start making our artisan loaf. So as you can see here, all of those bubbles is really good. So what we want to do is just dump this out as well onto a floured surface, and then we will form it into a, I lost train of thought, into a ball, and then put it into our Dutch, or we're going to let it rest for 30 minutes and then put it in our Dutch oven. But while the Dutch oven is, I'm putting the Dutch oven into the oven. I preheated the oven for 450. When it's preheating, you want to put the Dutch oven inside of it uncovered for 30 minutes. Can you give me that flour from over there? I'll do that. So what I like to do is just do it just like I do sourdough. So get one hand and hold tension, and then the other hand try to scoop under a little bit. And then that's how I do my circles. Just like that. And then we're gonna let it rest just right here with this plastic wrap over it. For the 30 minutes that we have to wait on the Dutch oven, and then we will be back. Okay, you guys, now we are going to place this dough onto some parchment paper, and then I'm going to transfer it into my Dutch oven that's still in the oven that I'm about to take out. We're gonna wait 30 minutes for that to get done. And then we are going to remove the lid and then let it cook longer for 7 to 10 minutes until you get that nice golden crust that you like, and then it will be ready to come out. Okay, you guys, the bread is done, and I'm taking it out right now. And here it is. Okay, you guys, for the bread, we want to just put the sandwich bread, we just want to put it in the oven at 390 for about 20 to 25 minutes, and then we will be bringing it out when it registers 208 or 210 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, you guys, now I have my sandwich bread that is done as well. So it was a very productive day. I'm so glad that I was able to bring y'all these 3 different bread recipes. If you try them, always let me know down in the comment section down below. But I hope you all have a great day. I am tired, so I'm gonna get some rest. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.